Not bad. How are you? I keep telling you, you're allowed to.
No.
That sounds like a complaint.
In a manner of speaking, it is.
So I win. What's up, Jason?
Howdy,
Hey
sir.
there. How are you guys tonight?
Can't complain. You did get the message about Mac canceling tonight?
I did.
Okay.
And I just thought I'd log on and just talk for a little while.
Oh, absolutely. And Peanut Gallery, you can stick for the whole game if you want.
Nah, I'm not feeling good tonight, so I was just going to stay for a little while.
Sorry.
I haven't even felt like playing Final Fantasy today.
Yeah, I just now noticed you weren't doing your stream, so yeah.
I hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah, I'm just having trouble with my leg right now.
It would help if I actually had the microphone in front of me. Sorry about that.
I could hear you. It didn't sound funny, though.
Yeah.
Matt, did Jeremy ever get back in touch with you?
He did. And
Good.
an interesting thing, we emailed back and forth a little bit, and let me see if I can find that. He apparently worked at a place I worked years ago, Franklin American Mortgage, and had some interesting stories to tell based on some things I'd heard from my former coworkers there. So Franklin American went through an acquisition after I left, and the acquisition was hard on the IT department. And it was after the acquisition, during that transition period, that Jeremy went to work there, and he just got thrown into kind of a toxic environment. And I heard the same thing from former coworkers, because a lot of them left as a result of it. So, and so did he.
Yeah.
He didn't last a year.
Where was this?
Franklin American Mortgage Company.
Oh, that place. Okay, I remember.
Yeah, the mortgage company used to commute to all the time. When I was working there, I think Jeremy would have enjoyed it, because it had a vibrant developer shop. There were 100 people in IT, and half of them were developers, most of them Java. Everything was done in-house. It was interesting. It was really an interesting place. But when the acquisition happened, yeah, leadership left. The place that bought the thing, yeah, it was a mess. And my understanding was a lot of the tasks were outsourced, not necessarily to the acquisitions on an IT team, but just outsourced to contractors, just random contractors for cutthroat prices. So they undercut the salaries of the people that were working there. So that's fine. All those people landed on their feet pretty much, because Nashville is a center for financial institutions, and that seem it, but it is. So there's a high demand for Java developers and such like that. So yeah, it worked out well for most of those folks. Yeah, I was really interested to see that he'd worked there, and heard his story.
Yeah, he's worked at a lot of financial institutions.
Yeah, I really haven't kept track of him. I didn't know where he was. I just knew that he landed well once he left Valley.
Right now, he's in North Carolina. But his job, the company is in Brentwood or Franklin.
Yeah.
But he works from North Carolina. Yeah.
He's in that prime of his life spot, where people were and quite successful at what he does. So hasn't had any major misfortune that I'm aware of. You're not feeling well, you say? Is it just the normal stuff?
Yeah,
just
just lymphedema acts up every once in a while, but this time it's, I don't know. I'm trying to avoid going to the hospital for intravenous. What am I trying? I can't even get the name out of antibiotics.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't say antibiotics. But man, it's starting to seem like I might have to. But I've been trying to avoid it. But
So where do you go? Which hospital?
I go to either Winchester or Tullahoma, because those both have a wound center connected to them, and lymphedema specialists.
Really? So
The
is it common enough that both of those are relatively rural hospitals? Is it fairly common then?
lymphedema part is not, but yeah, wound healing is really bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wounds specialists around because of diabetic wounds and things like that.
I got you.
And
That would be
my
common,
wounds
yeah.
aren't diabetic, but they're hard to cure just like a diabetic wound. Because back in 2017, when MRSA got in my leg, it destroyed a lot of my lymph nodes in my lower leg on the right side. So now I have trouble with lymphedema where it'll just swell up, and once it does that, if I don't take care of it and elevate my leg and pump my leg regularly, then sometimes it could cause ulcers, and then
It's the
those
first sign of
ulcers,
a whole descending chain of events.
yeah, and it's hard to control, and it's something that I'll deal with the rest of my life. Your lymph nodes do not regenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this time is a little particularly bad, and it can be painful. Today, my
Imagine.
leg is throbbing quite a bit, and I've been trying to keep it elevated and staying in bed, things like that. So yeah, I'm trying to stay out of the hospital for it, but I may have to. It might be infected pretty bad.
Yeah. It's better for you, in your case, definitely better to be safe about it.
Yeah.
And as long as you're going to a place that you've, been to and you trust and they're reliable, then that's
Yeah.
good. Howdy E, how goes? And howdy C, how goes?
I'm in.
Yeah, I
Live
see
from my
that.
quarters. Yeah, live from my quarters.
Yeah, your backdrop it's pretty apropos.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to get one for each game.
You've done a lot
Yep.
with that place.
Yeah.
I know. And you've really done the wires to kind of get them out of the way so they don't show so much on screen.
I don't see a single spark jumping around behind the panel.
Yeah.
Game's just starting.
That's true.
I may actually log into Final Fantasy in a little bit, play some, but I don't know if it's long enough to even do a
That's up to you,
stream.
man. Even a short stream is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But it's up to you whether you want to bother. Because if you're feeling that bad, you may decide after you log in and start playing a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I'm at a good spot. I want to continue that story.
mhm.
I
Yeah, I
just
saw where you're at in the story.
I just had the
You
battle between the two dragons, between Racefulgar and Nidhogg.
yeah. Yeah, I saw your comment about when, shoot, I can't remember the dude's name, but anyway, when he drops the eyes into the ravine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, stomp on those eyes. Just destroy them. Set them ablaze. I don't care. Just make sure they're gone. No, he throws them into a ravine.
Where they'll be perfectly safe, never to
Yeah.
be seen again.
They actually called it an abyss instead of a ravine. I don't care what you call it. Something's down there, and somebody is eventually going to get down there and grab those things. And then its cycle repeats.
I got my father's eyes, right?
In a world with floating airships, there's no way they can get down there.
Yeah, that's right.
And their ship's too big. They'll bump against the sides of a ravine. It's not like they have rope or anything. It's pretty bad. I think everybody has a similar reaction, but we're all used to foreshadowing in Final Fantasy, and so no. So see, how is Kay?
She's some better. She's still battling with it. She's not as much better as either one of us would like. She did an overnight shift last night and was basically crashed all day to her chagrin. She had these grandiose plans of getting stuff done.
Oh, totally understand that.
I haven't disturbed her as she's been passed out on the couch.
Yeah.
So I've been actually back here doing more things on the computer than I normally do. Patched and logged into Trek for a few minutes. They have a very interesting Halloween thing going where each captain goes through this group thing where you're going through this haunted house and everything.
Mhm.
It would, I think it'd be a neat one-off just for Halloween
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
for us to get in and do.
Hey, Steven? No, don't hear you.
He's muted.
Is he muted? Yeah, he's muted.
Or he just might be.
Chewing while muted. Yeah, there you go. Now I hear you. Yeah. Let's see. Since we're going to have probably Mr. Pegg in a little while, we'll have the full complement. We'll just continue the space part, which will shortly not be so space part. But yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that.
As long as it's not spaced part.
Oh, we already went through that. That's why we love spacesuits.
I guess I'll be really closer to airlock then.
Just have your helmet handy. That's all you need.
Yeah, there we go.
That door behind you isn't an airlock? Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, you changed it. Yeah. Ready to jump ship, as it were. So, Steven, how goes? You're muted again.
I lost my mic with the mute button. I had to do it here. I was reconsolidating my banks. I had moved my food down to one and my potions to another. I shouldn't have split them up. There are things that require both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the true of all of them in New World. It's a little annoying. But in terms of inventory management, you're forced to do that at some point. You just have to plan, okay, I want to make something. Then just, okay, where's my stuff? Go gather it and go make it. Because the refining tiers and the crafting tiers vary from town to town and over time. Because they're upgrading and downgrading and this and that. There's no ideal place for any one thing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting yet annoying dynamic. So I think I don't know that it will become this complicated, but it should. There needs to be some politics going on, or at least cooperation between companies, where we say, okay, we want this place to be tier 5. Whereas right now it's just the governing company makes a decision. Okay, I'm going to work on this, and
Right.
they are probably ignoring everybody else. So that sort of discussion may be happening, but we're just not aware of it because there only seem to be like 4 or 5 companies that ever hold. They're big enough now that they actually hold territory. So they probably talk to each other.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just kind of left to, deal with it. Oh yeah, I finally caught up to what you're talking about, Neff. I think I didn't realize that was Simon's brother, but it might be in spirit or in fact. But either way, yeah, he's a big bad guy.
You have me thoroughly confused because I don't know if you know what I was talking about when I said Simon.
Simon Gray, right?
No, I was talking about your character in our game who met an untimely demise.
Oh,
His
I had
demise.
no idea what you were talking about.
I figured. I was like sitting there thinking, I was like, what?
I heard you say Simon Gray. Simon Gray's brother, is coming, and I'm like, Simon
See, I didn't
Gray
say
has
the
a
gray
brother.
part, but I just said I was looking forward to meeting Simon's brother. Because
Okay, all
the
right.
D&D
Because
joke is that your character dies and his twin brother
context
shows
is
up.
important. Context is important.
Well, right
because
before that, you said Mac's game was canceled, and I said
Right.
I was sad because I was looking forward to meeting Simon's brother.
Yeah, I didn't connect the two. Since we were playing New World, the only Simon I know in New World was Simon Gray.
Yeah, and I would never have put those two together because I've only fought him like once or whatever. Although he did murder us a lot. That's
Yeah, he certainly did. He was very murdery. I think it's maybe Kay back there. Hello,
Hey
how you
guys,
doing? So how you feeling?
I got to feeling better and then I got to feeling worse. It's the craziest thing, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Are you getting any help from docs?
No.
Yeah.
No. Right now they're too busy worried. Do you have COVID? No, then you don't need to be seen.
Yeah, there's something to that. Not that there's something to your observation, not that they're right.
So yeah, it's fun times right now. Just wanted to say, hey,
Well, it's good to see you.
let you know the rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Yeah.
And howdy, Mr. Peg. And get star, Thora. All right, take care, Kay.
Yeah.
So how goes in your world, Mr. Peg?
It's going good.
All right.
Thor's eating. She's calm. For now.
Yeah, that's right. For now. All right. Thank you, E.
I'm usually calm when I'm eating too. It's when I run out that I get all upset.
The only time I've ever eaten angry was when I was in the military.
Was that about the food or about the place or combination of them or the people? Or
Yeah, I did
combination
a
thereof?
little bit of column A, a little column B. There's a
Okay.
slight peppering of failures from leadership. You know,
Oh yeah.
the
The
stuff you
normal
don't
thing.
hear about.
Aren't you currently in the military?
I have currently ETS'd.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. August.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Something like this, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to warn you, so you can prepare for it. I'm anticipating it's a good possibility at some point tonight there will be a loud sound effect. Warn you when it comes. But yeah, it'll be a thing.
It's going to be the death of all of us.
Yeah, that's right. We blow up the ring world or something. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like we have a full house. So let's continue with the space scene.
I'm going to head out, guys.
Hey, take care, sir. So let's see. Everybody is logged in. Yep. So does everybody remember where we parked?
I'm a little shaky because I was out on the last one.
So we disabled Lower Lark. The Novas boarded it, took it over. We got the Yort Hall to surrender.
That's right. So all true. And what you're looking at, C, is you may remember probably the last game you were involved with was with the other group of characters. But before that, with this group of characters, you'd all been sucked out into space on the other side of the ring world. Okay.
Mhm.
And managed to get on the Eliethia. Now, a game later, you're back on the correct side of the ring world, and you discovered these two ships heading towards where Rithipal Landing is. The Orthal, not so much. Orthal was way up high, but this Lower Lark was definitely headed and was not a known ship, and turns out it was not a nice ship.
Hmm.
So there was a space battle, and the end result of that space battle was you've captured the Lower Lark and gotten the Orthal to stop. Now, the Orthal, for your recollection, is the 9,000-ton jump forward tanker that came in with the D-30 with the old game.
I
And
thought
that was
sounded familiar.
yeah, and it was destroyed by the D-30 at some point because the crew refused to cooperate with the captain of the D-30 in their evil plans.
Right on.
Part of a project of the flights and techs has been to restore the Yordhall, and they have succeeded. This is that Yordhall, functional, spaceworthy, ready to go. And this, in fact, if you remember, this was the ship that Emmerich wanted to center his let's leave the ring world and explore initiative around, because it's lots of fuel, jump forward. It's the thing that can get us there.
Does have the newest tech aboard because they had to use it to rebuild it.
That's right. Turns out, though, that the military types, the gunners, had other ideas, and the gunners had taken over that project. But it turns out it's not the gunners running; it's these whoever the heck they are. You know, it was a bunch of Aslan that are not a part of Rithipal Landing that manned both of these ships. There were some human types in there. It was a mix, but mostly Aslan. Okay, so that's where you're at now.
Wouldn't they cat both ships?
They cat both ships, yeah.
Classical steamships had boilers that worked down in the bottom shoveling coal. These guys shovel litter.
Yeah, that's right. You had to burn something to move forward, so.
Yeah. Come, humans, sift my box.
So that's the Yordheim, and that's the Lower Lark. The Lower Lark, is an 800-ton mercenary cruiser from the old days, in
Hmm.
very good condition, but not 100%. It doesn't have all of its turrets operation, but the key feature of the Lowelark is it is twice the tonnage of the Eliethia, but
Hmm.
it's more of a combat transport. It's meant to move a company into position to go fight things. And let me see, here we go. That is what you have on board.
Hmm.
2 modular cutters, a couple of ATVs. In this case, they're not ATVs, they're hover tanks that are in place. Combat teams, crew, and an airship. So all that stuff was there. And that's what the 2 Novas and their battle dress went on board and just took out. Because the Lowelark didn't really have time. Once the Eliethia showed up and started engaging them, it was like, what's going on here? They didn't have time to get combat ready. Then when 12 people in battle dress show up and they're still putting their suits on, yeah, it didn't go well for them. So to summarize the current status, you have both ships, but you don't have any people on the Yordhall because it's actually still quite distant from you. You just said your weapons can reach them, but you have to thrust out there to actually, let's see, let's get your distance. Yeah, they're 30,000 kilometers away. Yeah, it's not long, but you have to go there in order to actually occupy the ship. Right now, they're just under threat of being destroyed because they don't have any weapons to fire back. The Yordhall was restored, but it wasn't armed because there's no reason to arm it in this system. They hadn't decided what they're going to do with the shit.
Right.
Now the broadsword here, the Lowelark, they had determined that its point in the whole grand scheme of things of what's happening now is it was intended to land near the shipbreaking yard and take it over using those troops.
Which
Which would have been cake. The shipbreaking yard is a bunch of engineers, technicians, workers,
bunch of guys with
s-
plasma cutters fighting you is about it.
and there's battle dress and hover tanks that would have been assaulting them, so they would have taken it. There are some armed. There was likely going to be 2 or 3 of the flight ships, the salvage ships, like the Gamemaster, and those are armed, but they probably wouldn't have been a match for the Lowelark itself because the Lowelark had some significant weaponry. It just wasn't enough to deal with Eliethia, which has more significant weaponry.
Now,
All
as big as that property is, what security they do have is far too far-flung to post.
That's right. It's huge. The shipbreaking yard is just mind-bogglingly used. It's 250 miles across because they're just dropping ships, boom, and they send a team out to go salvage it and just leave the ship there. So you're right. It's just it's all over the place. There is one spaceport that's probably where the Lowelark would have focused there. That's where the greatest number of people come and go. People that commute from Rithable Landing could come in there, but it would have been cake. Yeah. So what do you want to do now? You have control of these 2 ships. You have actually 3 Novas worth of battle dress because if you remember, this gentleman here, find things now. Yeah. Major Turner. He's been along for the ride. This was the fellow that found you in the Gamemaster and was there with you when you got thrown out on the other side. He fought Mama, if you remember, the big.
Yeah.
Gory Mama. All right. So he's there with you and some of his battle dress guys. And you got those other 2, and you've got the complement of the Gamemaster with you. Not a lot of people survived on the Lowelark. It was a slaughter, and the people that fought back just died because the guys on the Novas weren't kidding around. So there's the command complement. You don't have anybody left. You don't have anybody that can tell you things like codes, plans, just the general gist of what was in the computer, the landing spot that was already pre-programmed for navigation. And we'll check on that in a moment. Yeah, that's right. But you do have the equipment, mostly intact, and the ship itself is fine, except for some significant damage. I say fine. It was damaged by in that battle. So it's down to, I think, what was it, 2 Gs, 1.5 Gs. Enough to get to where it needs to go, but not as quickly as it could before. And there's some structural damage, but that can be patched up on the inside. And then there's the Yordle. You got to decide what you're going to do with it, period. You do have the crew of the Yordle completely intact if you want to talk to them. So where would you like to go next? What's next on your agenda?
Questioning the Urt Hall. Boarding it, taking it.
All right. So that would be this gentleman. This was the guy that you remember when you called him up, he was in the middle of his, just spit out his coffee. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say, hail him and be like, Yort Hall, you're about to be boarded. Open docking bays, let us on board.
Okay. Make a persuasive type roll, and we'll see how he reacts there.
Are we able to monitor their communications, like outgoing, to know if anybody that they're talking to on the ring world knows what's happened up here?
You can monitor broadcast communications. Yes, that's fully within the capability of the Eliethia and the Lower military vessels, but you can't intercept tight beam laser comms. All three of these ships are warships, including the Yordle. So they all have that capability. So it's conceivable they may have sent off a transmission somewhere that you don't know about using that technique. Persuade. Yes, there is lots of persuasion going on. Okay. The Perry is still in shock over what's just happened. He thought the Lower was just indestructible. It was the biggest, baddest thing around. It's just going to go in there and take names and then zap, zap, zap. And okay, they're all dead. Sure. Yeah, you're going to board. That's okay. You come on over and board then. That's fine. Yeah. What do you want us to do?
You're going to open the dock door. We're going to board. And your crew is going to surrender. And if there's any resistance, we're going to burn that ship.
He doubts that. The Yordle is very valuable, but he doesn't doubt the fact that you're coming over. And he cannot run you. All right, we'll be waiting.
So as we head over there, we're going to contact the Novas there, notifying, hey, we're moving. We're going to board the Yort Hall, finish your little operation, and we'll determine and get back to your ships, stay ready, and we'll determine what we want to do with the Lower Lark.
There's a brief. Actually, no. Given that it's you and the other people aboard, you got Major Turner with you. Yeah, they're cool with that.
And I'll also say before we head over there is keep close monitor of the comms. If there's any friendly Novas nearby or those taking a contact from any vessels, let us know, because if we gotta, we'll leave and go take care of that.
Yep, will do. So let's see here. It won't take long. It'll probably take less than an hour, maybe even 30 minutes. I'm assuming that you're going in the Eliethia herself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just to be thorough, they send their combat drones with you, an escort. They're not going to matter, what you're about to do, but they're there. So this gentleman, as you're headed over there, let me find him. All right. Remember this guy? He's the captain of the Gamemaster. All right. So he says, you're going to take that crew prisoner. I guess my crew can replace them. I'm lacking a ship right now.
And I nodded my head and I said, that was the plan. That it's a valuable ship, and we may need it in the times to come.
Turner, and I have his picture too. I think I may have shown him already.
Needed.
Turner says, yeah, I'll stay with them. They're going to need some protection in case somebody does the same thing we're about to do.
Absolutely.
So you arrive, have no problem. You get to the Ord Hall, dock up, don't even need a roll for it. And the airlock opens, and there's the Perry in a spacesuit. Hands, you can't reach all the way around the helmet. So hands just up and touching the helmet. And he has 8 other people with him. And just at a glance, they're all Aslan.
So I go, thank you for surrendering peacefully. We will still do a thorough search of the docks, of the docking area and the whole ship, but you are now prisoners of the Eliethia, If you please come this way, we'll search you. We'll make sure you're taken care of. Is there anything you'd like to say?
You guys don't know who you're dealing with, but it ain't worth dying for today. Relemic
Well,
is going to hear about this.
I'm sure he's already heard about it.
I don't think so. We're still here. I sure wasn't going to tell him. He'd just blow us up.
I kind of smirk at that. It's like,
This is my ship anyway.
very good.
Yeah,
Sweet.
no problem there. Who is going to be guarding them? Because you're taking a large number of people that were crammed into the Eliethia, and they're now taking over the Yordle. That's the crew of the Gamemaster, 20-odd people. That doesn't leave so many people on the Eliethia now. So who's going to be doing the guarding of these prisoners?
So, thinking is anyone that's not essential to the operations of the ship, defense-wise or piloting-wise, mayhaps Aslan amongst us, maybe a familiar face, might be able
Let's
to.
see.
There's someone,
You
the name's on
probably,
the tip of my tongue. It's just right.
you actually, among the PCs, you don't have an Aslan. And in fact, you probably have a couple of Aslan among the Gamemaster crew that could stay behind and try to deal with that. But amongst basically, you just have, who would it be?
Bitterman's the most useless one, so he'll do it with Pris.
Yeah, you got Bitterman and Pris. Anna has stabilized her patients, so she would be available. Loki is there, but Loki's probably dealing with engineering stuff. You probably don't want Loki because she's probably fixing the hits that you did take.
No, we need that to be worked on.
So you amongst the PC crew, which is really all that's left on the ship now, you've got those folks and Bob, if you want to use Bob.
Bob's not busy helping Loki. Bob can help, but yeah, Bob, Anna, and Bitterman, and I'll be intermittent. I'll be there because I have some questions for him, but I'm also there if the bridge needs me. Run off that way to do that.
Alrighty, so we're going to need some rolls now. Okay. So for folks that are searching the Yordle, we'll want a computer roll, astrogation, let's see, and engineering or mechanics, whichever's best. For folks that are staying on the Eliethia and doing the guarding thing, some sort of persuasion roll, whichever one you have that's best and ideal, or however you want to play it as you're interacting with these prisoners.
I would say Emmerich would want to go and check out.
Yeah, Emmerich's not with you, actually. He's
Okay, I couldn't remember if he was
okay.
still with us or not.
He's not at this point.
Okay. I knew he was pretty beat up. I didn't know if he made it the trip or not.
Nah, he's still there on the ring world with Dante and Una.
Yeah. Okay.
So persuades. I see persuade. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. The Pris is too cute to intimidate, even with her growling at them. Oh, okay. Roll for the crew. Put it over there. And that's good enough. Okay. Several things over the next couple of hours. The crew from Gamemaster reports that there are explosives scattered around the ship, set to scuttle it. And they have not been armed. That's the interesting thing about it. Now, you, having worked in space, probably understand why that is. The guys that you captured didn't look particularly suicidal to you. Sure, they could have set off those scuttling charges and jumped ship, but who would pick them up? Space is big and very empty. So their best bet in survival is to wait for you, at least wait for you to show up and get them off the ship. But the fact that they didn't arm the charges on their way out, that's interesting. For those of you that are talking to those guys, oh yeah, let's see, what else? Oh, I needed to finish a couple of more items on Yordle. Yordle, a couple of very interesting points. Did I see an astronavigation roll from anybody? I don't think it did. Okay, that worked. So yeah, we'll say Loki went on to help with evaluating the Ordal. That works. Good. Ooh, maybe not so good. There's our first spark. You get a 1 in there? You sure did. 1 and a 2. So for the astronavigation roll, the Ordal is fully stocked with fuel. Her tanks are full. And she has a course laid in. She has the destination is set to be the first waypoint station that was abandoned 50 years ago when the colony pulled back for the rest of the Imperium. You may remember the setup was that back in the day, in order to try to get back, and this was 70 years ago, Rithpal Landing set up a series of way stations where they could transport fuel and stock up those stations so that other ships could come along, refuel, and then move on. And there were like 3 or 4 of these way stations to get to the nearest habitated settlement, which was actually just an asteroid colony. And then there were some other stations beyond. The first of those stations was the most developed. It actually had something like you might call a small space station there. But it's just in deep space. There's nothing special about it. It's just a place out there in the middle of nowhere where there's gas because we put it there. Yeah, Yordhall has its course laid in for that way station, and it's been abandoned forever. As far as we know, nobody's there. Oh, and it shouldn't have any gas, by the way, because one of the key points of pulling back was we drained fuel from all of those way stations so that nobody who discovered the way stations could use fuel from them to get to us. Okay. So interesting. Second thing is that you're not going to get that because it costs sparks. The ship it has a cargo. It's for being 9,000 tons. It's not a huge cargo hold. But it's filled with provisions. It is filled with food, repair parts, supplies, and you don't have to think too much to figure that this is the stuff you would need to get that station up and going again. And all of those parts and the food and the supplies were produced at Rithpal Landing. So there are stuff.
This is all feline supplement number 3.
All I found is bags upon bags of meow mix.
So that gives you the story of the Yordhall there.
Hey, Rithful Landing, we're gonna head off and do this little mechanic job. You get your shit back together, and we'll see you when we get back.
Boom, and you're out of here. Yeah. Let's see. Talking to the crew that you took captive, most of them are low-level techs and repair guys, but they can tell you that they came from, and I think you may remember this story. Rithpal Landing isn't the only colony on the Ring World. When the collapse began in the Imperium, you took in tens of thousands of refugees that fled whatever was happening over there and headed out to you. And some of those people settled in Rithpal Landing, but most of them, because it's freaking huge ring world here, set up their own colonies. And many of those you just haven't heard from since. They went out into the wilderness and did their own thing, and you just don't know. They're from one of those other colonies, a colony of and their leader, and you've heard this name before, is a fellow by the name of Relemica. And you may remember the context, I'm throwing reminders in here because I know it's been forever, that Relemica was one of those refugees. He was hold on, let me pull this picture. Yeah, they have a picture of him now. They'll actually show it to you. That's him all grown up. But he was an albino. He was an albino Aslan, shunned by his people, because there are legends about albino Aslan being cursed. And none other than Eliethia herself took him in. That's the original Eliethia. Now, whatever happened to her, we don't know, because Relemica went off with a group of these colonists. Eliethia went with them, and no one ever heard from her again. And that was decades ago. But apparently this fella did pretty good. He's their leader. And he's not, he doesn't look happy, and he generally isn't happy. He has a reputation for being ruthless, destructive, and very hard to beat. But yeah, there's a tie-in with the original Eliethia. And it was Una, I believe, that told you the story. Una and Dante kind of piecing things together. Was that Una recalls that Eliethia sensed something in the kid, some sort of psionic potential, which is rare amongst Aslan. And perhaps it goes along with the albino thing. They call him cursed. Maybe that the curse is actually just another way of saying psionic potential.
Yeah.
That you just wanted to nurture and train so as it didn't become a danger to him. But that's all they knew about the story. When Eliethia left, she parted ways pretty suddenly. All they know is they were supposed to go to the staging area that Trinity Halcom had occupied. And again, I suppose I need another reminder. Trinity Halcom was a large freighter that was acting as a space station basically directly above Ritha. It had jump to capability, but it was a refueling point for ships coming and going. They would go there, and then they would try to go down to Ritha. And you may recall, you saw some containers from the Tristan, when you were doing your survival on the ground trip, road trip, trying to get to Una eventually. That news made it to the admiral. The admiral of the gunners, one of the council, took an assault squad up there, and while the assault squad was up there, the ship took the admiral, the troops, and all those supplies and fuel someplace. We don't know where. That was getting on a week ago, so wherever they are, they're there. But we don't know if they're ever coming back. So Yordhall was headed over here and was just going to park there waiting for further instructions. All right, you have successfully taken over the Yordhall. What next?
Well, after we determine it's safe, we'll detach.
All righty. And what's your next move?
So, checking with the two Novas to see what they're doing, what they're up to.
Let's see. One of the Novas is actually moved away. They are going to assist another Nova that is dealing with another problem further up that way. So that leaves, actually, let me swap them. So, yeah, 33 is headed off. 74 is just hanging out with the Lower Lark. Their intention was they wanted to take it to the shipbreaking yard. Basically, whoever's monitoring things, because it's pretty easy if you're on the surface of the ring world, pretty much from any point on it, because there is no horizon. It goes the other way. They can look and see where those ships are. And so they want to make sure that the ships continue at least look like they succeeded in this battle and are continuing in their intended path. So that's where they're headed. Lower Lark is headed for the shipbreaking yard right now, limping along.
Well, that's probably where the Yordhall needs to go as well.
The Yordhall can't land.
Or at least stay with them. Maybe have the combat drones nearby.
Okay.
Or
so,
he can stay with us. It's where
the captain, the new captain of the Yordhall. Let's see.
Yeah, we've got Yordhall fully under control. We can do whatever we want with that. So
it's just he has no armament. That's the only thing. It's a very valuable ship that's very vulnerable.
Frederick says he thinks the plan should be make it look like the Yordhall was never captured. For as long as possible, just play along, because it doesn't matter where we go. If there's something that wants to engage us that has the range, they can do it from the surface of the ring world. Like right now, the Rithapol could hit us if she decided to fire. So his plan would be just continue this journey, park where their navigation said we were going to park, and see what sort of further instructions we get. And he'd appreciate it if you left the combat drones with them. That would be their only defense.
Oh, that's what I wanted the drones to stay with them. And I guess just keep that long-range comm button handy. And something happens, let us know. Something bad happens, we may not be able to get there in time, but you can at least warn us.
Yeah. He understands the risk. He just doesn't know where else to go. Maybe a crazy idea might be to enter jump and just like jump in system. That'll take them out of play for a week. That might be an option.
That actually may be a safe bet.
So that's his plan. If it looks like they're going to be come under attack or there's some danger, he'll just jump to another location in system, and he'll radio you a week later.
Sounds good. Godspeed.
Now, meanwhile, you've got the Loa Lark and one Nova with you.
Might as well help escort that one down instead of just going up blindly. Maybe we can get a better sense of what's happening and formulate a plan.
Okay. So
also, we need to dump off these prisoners.
Yeah, for real. So the plan then is take the Loa Lark down to the shipbreaking yard where they were going anyway. And that, again, makes it look like bad guys' plan is proceeding as they expected. All right. So let's see here. Chris, could you remind me the name of your character's uncle that ran a facility there, shipbreaking yard?
I think it was Stephen Blackridge.
That'll work.
I do believe that is correct. I have to look it up, but I think that's correct.
All right. So let's do a little bit of math.
And his brother-in-law.
Yeah. And pull up this guy. Not that guy. Pull up the other guy. Space. That's the one. So they're limping along 1.5. It's double the distance because you're having to catch up. Yeah. So it's going to be like a 4-hour trip to catch up with the ring world and approach that landing. All right, good. Now, when you, the Eliethia, kind of get back in this company of ships here, the Nova guy lets you know that there is a lot of comm chatter in system. Basically, most everybody at this point's lost comms with the landing. We don't know what's going on the ground. The Loa Lark has received some type beam communications from approximately where Rithipal Landing would be, as well as the shipbreaking yard. But they're encoded. We don't know. Somebody with a good computer roll, give it a shot. But they haven't been able to decipher them. Ooh. Okay, there's a winner. Yeah, lots of good rolls here. I like it. Okay. So we'll give you this from those comms. The type beam from the shipbreaking yard is simply saying that the ground team's ready to receive. That's not the shipbreaking yard. The shipbreaking yard doesn't need a type beam to say that. All right. So, not a laser type beam. They might use, radio comms, civilian radio comms directed, but not a laser type beam. The type beam from Rithipal Landing says phase 1 accomplished, progressing to phase 2. And that's what you get from those.
The Yard Hall is definitely a part of phase 2 in some form, but I'm pretty sure this ship was the actuator of phase 2. So if you already have enemy forces down there, this is just going to help reinforce them and give them vehicles and to quickly spread.
Yeah, that ground team ready to receive does suggest that there's already bad guys in place in and around the shipbreaking yard, yeah.
So I'm going to warn the Nova. It's like shipbreaking yard it's breached. There's how bad that this is, I don't know, but there's definitely enemy forces or insurgents there. Whether they're hiding amongst the workers is yet to be seen.
The Nova, we're in comms with the shipbreaking yard. They've been trying to get probably the most active people trying to get a hold of Rithipal Landing and trying to send people there to find out what's going on, and even over our objections.
So tell them to stop all flights going to Rithipal Landing. If they already haven't, tell them to come back now, because they're just going to get shot down. They're probably going to get
down
burned,
or captured or something bad.
And that's more people in the dragnet that we don't need. Tell them to come back. We need to formulate a plan. And we definitely need to figure out if there are agents there. We need to neutralize them, capture them alive, and just try and piece together what's happening, because obviously this is a takeover of everything. So as of right now, Rithpol Landing is lost. The only thing we can do right now is secure everything else, get all of our equipment, troops, everything in order, and we'll formulate a plan then.
All right. So they make that transmission and say that there was some argument, but they actually, the folks that are there at the shipwrecking yard would like to talk to you.
And I say, excellent. I would love to talk to them.
Okay.
All right, you hold these two wires together.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm just thinking of Periscope down too.
All right. I'm almost tempted to do it. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson of this guy, but no. All right. Patch me through to who's in charge of the Virgil. Yeah.
So this is Virgil Navarre in the flesh, still alive. I'm sure the candlelight vigils held for me were quite beautiful.
We heard you were shot down. We didn't know what had happened to you. That was weeks ago.
I go, yes, we were shot down. We were shot down by some rogue agents in a Nova. Not sure if they've been dealt with or not, but we've been fighting and clawing our way. And we now have a ship. And Virgil kind of gets serious and says, but there's a lot going on that we need to talk about.
Something strange is afoot to Circle K.
Exactly.
All right. Come on down. We'll set up a pad for you over here at the main yard, and we can talk then, face to face. No, none of this comm stuff.
That's what I'd prefer. And just so you know, I have prisoners. We're going to be putting them somewhere, segregating them from your workers. Just letting you know beforehand.
As it happens, we have prisoners too. That's something that we can discuss whenever you come down here.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, Virgil's actually happy about that. That's a friendly face. And it seems he's been dealing with the same stuff that we have too.
That's right. He certainly has, just different scale. So several hours later, you're making that final descent there. Let's see here. So need a piloting role. Did you prompt poor Samuel up there? Yeah, looks like you did. That's good enough. This is not the first time that Samuel's docked at the shipwrecking yard, to be sure, after over a long career. So here's the shipwrecking yard. What it looks like. It's a desert. It's a vast desert. I'm on the southern part of that rim world. In fact, let me change the backdrop over there. Backdrop to the desert. Okay. You'll notice it in that southern, southwest area. Helpful if I looked at it too. Down here. And these hexes, yeah, it's quite large. It covers this whole desert down there. Just ship upon ship upon ship, hundreds of wrecks. And what's happened over the course of the past century is the salvagers will go out there and find a likely candidate that they cannot repair. There's just parts. And they will drag it back to Rithpol and just dump it in that desert, just crash it into the surface. And then a team will go out and strip it for parts and just leave the husk there to rot. The Sonthert Desert is not hot, but it is barren. And you wonder given the Ringworld's ability to control weather, why a desert's even there. It's for the same reason that you have a glacier in the middle of this all-terrain. The weather control isn't perfect, or perhaps it's degraded over the millennia to create these barren spots. So the wind howls, sand is gritty, gets in your eyes. It's very dune raucous, right? So you just have to, and it's a bit of a survival challenge because barren is also no water. There's a lake that's 100 miles away, but you better bring your own water. You're going to die out here. So that's the shipwrecking yard. You just thousands upon thousands of derelict ships that have been dropped here over the years. Now, where you're headed is not necessarily to the field, but to the spaceport that's been set up. That's like the lone bastion of survivability. And the spaceport is fairly sizable. It's meant to land those 200 to 400 ton salvage ships and have maybe up to a dozen of them in port at once. They're serviced there, they're built there. And this is the place that the workers go to live, eat, survive, where all of the salvaging operations are controlled from, aside from some satellite operations, such as the one that Stephen Blackridge runs, that are scattered here and there. So it's a fairly large outpost. When it's in full swing, active operations going on, you might have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people around the spaceport and out there in the field doing their salvage work. A significant percentage of the population of Rithipal Landing.
Yeah.
Right now, it's about that. There a lot of people were out here doing work when all this went down, and so it's very crowded around the shipwrecker yard, the spaceport, as these two ships land. Let's see. A lot of those the teams that were out there came back demanding to know what's going on home. They stopped work, as one might expect. So you have our buddy come out there and talk to you. Yes. But along with Mathis is Stephen Blackridge. He catches eyes of Anna and just gives her a big hug. Man, I am so glad to see you.
And be honest, so did we.
But then he steps back and takes a look at the Eliethia and says, "Where did you find that? That is a Type CE Gazelle Model B, if I'm not mistaken. It's missing the launch. That's too bad. Been in battle, but otherwise in great condition. Yeah, that's a find."
We found it at the base of a tree.
Meanwhile, Mathis has gone over to Virgil and says, "So where are these people from? What's the deal? What's going on here?"
So I take him aside and just go, "There's a lot to tell you." And he just unpacks everything. Who shot them down? The Colonel de Blaren was a part of the plot to kill someone. Yeah. And he goes on.
De Blaren's the guy in charge at Rithipal now.
Well, that would make sense. If you're missing your senior leadership, he'd come in and he's got people loyal to him. He can outgun everyone else. He's probably just the local tyrant to hold everything down to move all your pieces in place. That's why Rithipal probably fell. And but
he may have numbers and loyalty there, but not here. The techs and the decks outnumber everybody else here.
And Virgil nods. He says, "Exactly." He says, "But for right now, we may be able to even the odds now." This is something he's not expecting. He's expecting people here to receive this shipment of weapons, a company's worth of supplies, to occupy this. So we've definitely thrown a wrench in his gears, but he's part of the plot. Now, he wasn't there to kill me. He was there to kill someone else. I think they were meaning to assassinate Professor Torino. That's a guess. It may have
Why
been.
would they want Emmerich? He's harmless.
Because he's talking about exploring space, exploring everything else. Maybe there's something that de Blaren and his cohorts have out there they don't want to be found. They could have been out there to kill anyone else. There's a number, and I pointed out Loki and a few others. I was like, any one of them could be a target, but de Blaren made it very clear I was not his prize. So it can be a number of things. And go on. I leave Una out.
Mm-hmm.
I leave that out of the picture. Just say we just stumbled upon Turner and Captain Lance And I explain what they're doing. But the plot thickens. They're basically, it's a trap and they're going to spring it just to see what happens. And here we are. And we need to make a very tough decision soon because we don't know how many loyal Novas we got. We don't know how many are still out there. I had 2 with me. One went to go help a friend. I just got him.
He's better than nothing. And I don't know, with the firepower here, we might be able to put up a fight against just about anything. So I guess I need to tell you about our prisoners. Yeah, come on.
And Virgil goes, let me guess. They're all Aslan.
No, they're not.
Oh, ooh, the plot does thicken. So Virgil's actually excited because he's like, I need to hear this.
So meanwhile, while Virgil and Mathis wander off, what are the rest of you doing? Some medical guys show up to wheel off the wounded, as it were. That would mean you, Samuel. You know, the medic is like, what are you doing flying the ship? You got 2 broken legs. Come on. What, did they strap you in here? Yeah. Okay, so they're taking care of you. But at the end of all this, you'll have recovered 8 points. And you know how that goes.
Yes.
So does that get you back up to where you're reasonably functional?
Yeah, that's most of my endurance back.
Okay. Yeah. So you're still wounded a little, but yeah. All right. So Loki, what do you want to do? You've been fascinated by this old relic of a ship that you've been getting going, but now it's on the ground and it's swarming with other engineers. You basically have the complement of Ritzpo's Landing tech establishment that are just Googling over the antiques that just showed up in their yard.
She's going to network.
Okay, sounds good. And then Anna, what would you like to do? You've been reunited with your brother-in-law.
She'll probably make sure her charges are transferred. She tells them what she knows for all the wounded and things.
Mhm.
And she may see if she can get hold of, a radio and Steven's confidence and try to, raise the boat, see if she can get a hold of John.
Okay, yeah, that should be interesting. That'll work. And then Bitterman and Priss, this is definitely not your element. You just went from the pristine forest. You were out there, doing your exploration away from everybody. And now you're in the damn shipwrecking yard, desert, howling wind, coughing. Ugh. Okay. What do? You're muted or napping or something like that?
He was concentrating so hard on guarding those prisoners, he passed out.
That must be, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, we'll get back to Bitterman if he wanders back in. All right. First, I had to show you what we found. And then I'll show you, and then I'll take you to who we found on it. But Mathis takes you into a hangar. And this is not where it is. It's drier in the hangar. This is rather the scene where they found it. It's a Type S scout ship. And Mathis doesn't say anything. He just shows it to you. So roll 2d6, add your education.
I love the umbrella.
Yeah. But this is where they found it. They found it floating on the lake to the north. Oh, really? Wow.
He's messed up for landing too quickly. He's, oh God, it just hit me all of a sudden.
Let's see. Loki. You go. We'll give you a crack at it. Because they may drive you in here too. Because
I'm sorry. What am I rolling?
2d6 plus your education bonus. So Virgil, you're staring at this thing, trying to place it because Mathis isn't giving you. He's just sitting there grinning, and ear to ear, like it's like some great mystery of the universe has been revealed. And it's Loki that says, "Wait a minute, Munin? You see the name of the scout ship, Munin."
Virgil will just go Munin, the old legendary ships from my dad and my grandfather. And
this was one of the jump probes aboard the Rithipol that got stolen and jumped away and had never been seen again until now. Munin, with Rithipol written right above it.
Where's Hugin at? Munin and Hugin.
Hugin is still there. Hugin's still in the museum back in Rithipol Landing. You still had it at the end. But Munin went missing. And Loki, for that role, it went missing because Felix 2, F2, stole it.
Did you find anything else with it? Was it empty?
Oh, we found 2 people on board fishing.
Just
And
fishing.
those are the people I want you to meet.
I can't wait for this. Lead on.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the right one here. So he takes you inside the spaceport tower to their brig and introduces you to 2 guarded prisoners. So these 2, and before he takes you in there to meet them, he describes the scene. These 2 are native Rithipol Landing natives. They've been missing for some time. According to, they're both flights. That's presumably how they were able to pilot that thing. The last trace that anyone had of them was a jump drive test performed out system about 10 years ago. And now we see them again with this ship. They have a pretty interesting story to tell. Probably best if we let them tell it in their own words.
So Virgil kind of nods and says, yeah, I'll let them explain themselves. And he'll walk over there and he'll take a chair and sit down in it and be like, I hear you have a story to tell.
And Graham just leans back in his chair and folds his arm and says, well, I'm not telling the story again to anybody. We've told it at least 5 different times, and Calvetta says, wait, you're Virgil, aren't you?
And I nodded my head and I said, yes.
They'd see fame helps.
I get around. But I looked back at Grandma and said, I'm sure you have it in your heart. Tell it a 6th time, don't you?
Yeah, Calvetta looks over at Grammel and, yeah, if anybody can actually help, it probably starts with them. All right. So 10 years ago, we were working on jump drive dynamics, testing new jump drive systems. We thought things were going pretty well. Naturally, we don't do a lot with jump drives out here. We were wondering why we were even doing this testing. So we followed the instructions from the academics that we were given about courses and the dynamics of the Latinum grid and all that good stuff that just doesn't make a lot of sense. But apparently it worked for the old timers, and we thought it would work for us. It worked all right. We jumped, and we came out in the middle of nowhere. So when I say the middle of nowhere, I quite literally mean that. And there was just no hope of us getting back in the ship that we were in. We had fuel for one jump, and it was intended to target somewhere in the system. That's the way you test these things. So we thought we were dead, but looked around and caught sight of another ship. What's this another ship doing here in the middle of nowhere? So approached it, hailed it. It was dead. It was quiet. Went aboard, and it turned out to be the ship, the Munin. Okay. We didn't find anybody aboard. It looks like it had shut itself down for lack of fuel. It still, though, had enough fuel for another jump too, because these old jump probes were designed for enough fuel to make 2 jumps. One out, one back. All we had to do is figure out where we were going. We had no clue. We didn't know where we were. We didn't know much about how these systems worked. The interfaces were unfamiliar. So we just expected to die again. We were going to try it. We were going to make a jump, but we didn't think we were going to go anywhere near where we needed to. So the moment before we activated the jump, something pretty odd happened. Let me see if I have it here. I may or may not. Yeah, I don't. The controls changed themselves, meaning the settings that we'd laid in for the jump parameters changed. We didn't change it. We made no inputs. I was there looking at the controls, and the jump parameter went from one setting to the other in the blink of an eye. And just before the jump drive actually began spooling up, and it was too late at that point. We couldn't stop it because we wouldn't have enough fuel for another attempt. So we just looked at each other and, okay, we didn't do that. Maybe there was some pre-programming in the ship that did. But when we jumped, we came back out pretty far away, but still within like slow boating distance of the system, of the ring world system. But we saw something out there. And Mathis says, this is the interesting part. There's this, gosh, I don't know how to describe it other than a
Large whale.
sticky mo. Old like it's Noel. Sticky mo. Not a whale, no. I would call it a space station, except it looks like a space station, except the size of it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it is the size of a moon. It was, easily 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers across. And we saw it out there, and it just was black, no power, not even infrared. It looks like it had been dead for eons, but there it was. And we decided that's probably our only shot. We could maybe try to make a slow boat approach, thrust a bit towards the system and coast in, and hopefully our supplies last. But maybe there's some fuel on that thing. But every time we tried to change our course to go towards it, the controls would change themselves again. Whatever had sent us there didn't want us to go towards that object. But there it was. Now, there's a scan of it in the Munins systems. We took pictures, such as we could. Here's the other thing. We approached, and it took us a good 6 months to make this long trip. That's how far away this thing is. We made this approach, and our full intention was to contact some of the salvage crews and let them know that, hey, here we are. We found this ship, but the comm systems wouldn't work. We intended to land at the Rithpal Landing Spaceport, but we couldn't set into course. It was all very much, there were systems aboard Munin that were basically making decisions contrary to what we were making. Where we ended up was the lake to the north. It seems that I really don't have much of an explanation for it. They saw us land. That's why they came out and investigated. They saw us there. We were in the middle of the lake fishing for food. Our next option was to try to swim 30, 40 miles. But that's the story. Now, how they got the ship here, I think they just took a salvage ship out and picked it up.
So when they finished talking, Virgil's rubbing his beard and goes, Deus ex machina.
Yeah. At this point, having been aboard her so long, the Munin has kept us alive all that time. That's great. But I'm a little scared of it.
Yeah. It does seem to have a mind of its own. But you two, I'd say, are legends right now. Went out testing and thrown into a no coming back scenario through ingenuity and your training, able to find the Munin, a long lost relic of my grandfather's time, exploring the system, somehow managed to get to work and brought it back here. I tell you, that's legendary right there. I'm looking at Mathis at the time. I'm saying this is I
He's
know
got one eyebrow raised. Mathis is clearly not buying all the story.
that's not the weirdest thing I've seen or heard in the short span of time I've been missing. I see no reason why these two are prisoners. I think they're heroes, and after all this is done, we'll be able to unite the Munin with its twin Unin, which is probably what it was talking to tell you not to go to Rithpol Landing.
But Mathis pipes up at that point and says Grandma was leaving out one important bit. And Grandma, yeah, we stole the test ship.
No, I know. You two would never be trusted with that crap.
And the other thing, and we didn't misjump. We knew where we were going.
And that's what perks Virgil's interest. And he just stands up and takes the back of the chair and just drags it closer. So how did you know where to go?
Grandma, clamps shut at that point. But now it's Covetta that starts speaking. We were hired by this Aslan, white hair all over. You can't miss him. But he seemed to know things that are just impossible to know.
Interesting. Point to Covetta. Grandma, you're up for a steal. You got anything extra to add?
Just that if we talk too much, he'll kill us.
What makes you say that?
You have to see this guy.
Well, I very much plan on it. Virgil looks at Kelvin and said, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it seemed you're about to say something.
I don't think he knew that the scout was out there. That wasn't what we were going out there to find. He wanted to know about that station. In fact, I think he didn't expect us to get back.
Yeah, you're expendable.
And they both kind of look at the table at that.
Point for Calvetta. So far, she's in the lead, Grandma. I kind of just tap my fingers across the table. So he sent you out there to possibly find this station. Now, you said the Munin was in empty space and you happened to find that on your jump back. Was the Munin closer than you wanted to say, or?
No, it was pretty far away. It was just dumb luck that we actually saw it on sensors.
So either the station was out there and moved, or he's just sending people out to find stuff and probably keeping a tracking device or a tab. I tap my head when I said a tab on you.
Mathis reaches into his pocket at that point and pulls out. I'm hoping that I have this thing here. Not that one. Yeah, I don't have that particular one. All right. He sets down something that is gently glowing blue. It screams ancient artifact at you. It's shaped, it's cylindrical, about 3 inches long. The ends are wider than the middle. It seems to have controls on one end. And they had this with them. Covetta quickly adds that's what he was using to track us with.
Bonus points to Mathis. And I actually look at him and said, there's a Aslan of my crew name of Loki. She loves ancient things. I think she might like that.
She's a vigor.
That's right.
Yeah, Mathis nods at that and puts it back in his pocket. As far as we can ascertain, it is inactive at this point, but at one point it seems to be capable of FTO comms. So presumably our friend had this crew take that ship out there. How he got those coordinates, don't know. But he was able to track their location at the destination with this, without them coming back to report. Ancient
Yeah.
tech.
That looks like the shipbreaking yard wins the game. It's not always rigged, but today it is. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm sorry, Calvetta. You lost this round. You may have a chance for redemption later on.
Actually, yeah, Grandma pipes up. That guy sent us out there to die. I would think I would like a little bit of payback.
You may get that chance. Turn back to Mathis. Said they're no threat to us here. They're pawns, bait, just being used to fuel another person's ambition and plans. They're no threat to us.
Persuade roll. See if Mathis agrees with you. It's okay. Is that a 6 or an 8?
It was a 6.
Nah. He says, I'm not sure about that. They need to work a little bit harder to earn my trust.
Virgil nods his head and says, it's your yard. I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm with Virgil on you might get your chance. Because I think before this is all said and done, it's going to take all of us to take whoever this guy is down. Hold that. So Mathis leads you out there, and so what do you think of all that?
Virgil's really thinking hard. And he, without dropping names, he talks about the stuff that they found with Una and company, the thing about the ring world itself. And Virgil goes, this is not the craziest thing I've seen and heard yet. So I believe their story is they went out there and happened to find this and flew it back. But my question is, this Aslan, is he foreseeing things? Is he trying to see outward or see the future, just see where something could be and try and he sees the future and thinks these are part of a plan or something, some premonition? The space station really gets me.
Yeah, that's a very specific thing. There's no way for anybody to have known it was there without access to some sort of ancient record or something. And what is it even there to do?
Well,
but
that's the question. Is it just a station, like a refueling, refitting station? Is it a weaponized station? Who knows? Is he just going to attach rockets to it and use it as a mobile asteroid for something? I can't tell you. It just seems interesting. Virgil goes, but I think that space station was the actual target, not Munin.
Mathis agrees with that. I think it's just dumb luck those two managed to make it back. Dumb luck, or maybe something about Munin itself, because that ship is spooky.
Virgil once again says, Deus ex machina. If half the things my grandfather told me are true, it really wouldn't shock me.
All right. So having heard this story, and it may not have particular relevance to current events, turn our attention to Rithipol. What are we going to do about that?
So Virgil really is, he's probably sitting down looking at a map, just really thinking. And he points to the lower lark. And he says, I think if what I'm thinking is true, they were going to park that and leave it here. Be a pretty good anti-air bunker, basically. They had one, they probably had more than one. My guess is they have a few Rithipol. They may be even using the Rithipol itself as a mobile firing platform, because as of right now, they just think we have just our normal ships. They don't know we have this. No, one of those big, cruisers could take out one of our Novas. You have it in a defensible position of multiple of them. You have a multi anti-air platform like flak towers that could stop any Novas from coming in from the air, keep them at a distance, And if they all had the same amount of armament that this thing had, you got a small standing army. Now, are they just going to sit there and hold Rithful Landing and its population hostage? Or are they going to try and move down here once they realize they've lost contact with this one? And whoever the contacts were to meet up with this group, they come down here and try and take it.
Along those lines, you had mentioned in your data dump that there was a specific location that this one was going to land, not at the spaceport itself, somewhere out there in the yard. So probably maybe what we ought to do is go check it out, see who's there, who was expecting this thing.
And Virgil agrees. He says, "Don't take everyone, but whoever you bring something
Well,
heavy."
I'm looking at 2 hover tanks that just got dropped in our lap.
I like your style.
All right. So who all is going to go on that? Leave it up to Mathis and the shipwrecking yard crew. All righty.
They're liable to need a medic.
Okay.
I'm definitely going. And I would definitely say to leave as much as I'd like to take all of them, I'd to leave most of the Nova crew back. Gotta have security.
Yeah. Mathis agrees with that. All right. So let's see here.
And I basically tell Sam is when I come and say, oh shit, you take off and you come and get me. Until then,
All right.
stay frosty.
Yeah, Anna says I'll go, but somebody needs to give me a rifle before I do.
Yeah,
They'll be able to fix you up there.
yeah, there's probably a pile of them. Any Valdress? Keep that locked up.
Does anybody know how to use it among the PCs?
Not me.
It's battle dress is a specialty of vac suit. So unless you actually have the skill, then yeah, you're
No, I just want
all the systems.
I just want it kept secure back at the landing. I don't want anyone screwing around with that crap.
Okay, fair enough. Bitterman and Priss, they're going to go scout something. Is this something that you're interested in, or are you done with the survival antics? Yep,
Sleep.
that's still AFK.
And sleep is a survival skill.
Yep, we'll say he's coming along just because he's not answering.
You're drafted.
And Loki, Loki, first thing for Loki is Mathis comes out and hands you an ancient artifact. So what do you make of that? And
Like
roll as appropriate. Okay.
My physics roll as well.
Yeah, actually, once you figured out what it's supposed to do. Okay. So this is typical of you. Remember there were several ancients. Among the ancients were just one group. So you had the ancients that were the drones. They had the folks that were the lower tech level, which is still like super advanced compared to our tech level. Then you had the chrome tech guys, which were much more advanced than the ancient drone. And then you had a third group that you don't know much about. The third group is where that halberd came from, that Una had, right? That you could basically slice and dice through just about anything. This, to your surprise, seems to be a relic from that third group. You don't know who they were, but you have seen very rare examples of their technology. Okay.
Any recorded properties?
Haven't seen one like this before. You know, in the 100 years that folks have been sorting through the ruins out here, you probably come across 50 examples of their technology. 50 examples of their technology. So that's how rare this thing is. This is like ultra rare, super duper fine, and it's wow. Oh, okay, cool. You have a million questions. But to the question that Mathis gave you, not really sure. You see, there are clearly some sort of energy projection facets on the thing. So unlike that halberd of Una's, a blue glow along the blade edge, which never goes out. This thing seems to be intended to project energy in some way, but it's unclear what its function is. There do seem to be controls on it, which is unlike most of the other examples of this technology that you've come across. Most of them don't have controls. And the reason, by the way, that people have theorized for that being the case is most of these are probably psionically controlled. Which reminds you of Zodani technology.
Right.
A lot of Zodani technology is like that in order to restrict most people from being able to use it.
Yes.
So this one, though, it does have some controls on it, but it may still also have some sort of psionic element you're not aware of. Say what? Not sure. As for the physics, so Mathis suggests that this may have been used as some sort of tracking technology, or that its function in the use case that he describes was tracking, but also tracking across interstellar distances. So that means normally in traveler era, if your information can't go faster than the speed of light, ships can, as long as they're using jump space. So this thing, being able to send information but not enter jump space, that's new. That's an interesting technique, if that's true, if that's what it was actually able to do.
And very valuable.
And very valuable. It would also imply that there has to be another example like it in order to receive.
A gizmo and try to find out if it's emitting anything that we can analyze.
Okay, so that's probably where Loki's going to be, is analyzing this thing. All right. Okay, so we have a reasonably full crew. All right. Let's see here. So those of you that haul up, they take you out there in... Mathis has some crew that can drive the tank, but the tank is going to hang back because they don't want the tank to spook whoever's out there. So instead, his suggestion is we've got a couple of our normal dune buggy type transports, fast transport over the sand through the shipbreaking yard. Just go out there to within a half mile or so. Visibility's lousy in the shipbreaking yard because of all the dust that's being blown up by the wind. So you can get pretty close without anybody noticing you, except if they have IR or something. And just sneak up there and shoot you. And if you need fire support, call in the tank. All right. So it's a ways out there. It's probably a 30-minute ride. And yeah, here we go. Make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Yeah, looks reasonable. So where you're going is a known location. They know at the shipbreaking spaceport what's out there in the yard. This location is the former location of a 400-ton science ship. You can see the ring of the science ship just kind of falling down in the dust, covered up by decades of accumulation. There is some discarded equipment from the prior salvage mission. That's just a little mover vehicle. There's nothing. It looks like it's decrepit. It's been out here sand blown for 40 years or so, just abandoned. And there's just a whole bunch of junk. This is the scene that you get everywhere in the shipbreaking yard. And ignore this thing in the middle. That's not useful. But yeah. All right. Let me see here. Let's set up the scene. Yeah, there we are. So remember, wind blown. And I'll turn that down a bit. It's not it. But that's it. It's just a constant roar of wind. And you can imagine what that does to the loose dust that's all over the place. So visibility is probably 150 feet, in most places. So occasionally, if you get on top of a dune, you can see a bit further. And not when I say dune, it's small rocky hills. It's not really sand dunes out here. All right. And you guys show up. Let me give you good. Now I can see it. Okay. In the southwestern part of the map, you got your own little buggy down there. Yeah, this is you. All right. And the tank is a ways further to the south, but easily it's hull down on one of these rocky ridges. So it has visibility. If you give it a target, it can't see it, but if you tell it where to shoot, it can shoot. All right. So what else we want here? And let's get some of you folks out there. So we have, yeah, okay, Anna. And the scale, I should say, is not quite, it's not 5 foot squares. We'll call it like 10 foot squares. Loki, Virgil went. Samuel went. All right, so all you guys are in the vehicle. Did any of you have a driving ground vehicle, driving wheeled?
Just my good old fashioned jack of all trades.
She's got it. It ain't super.
That's fine. Just go ahead and give it a roll. We'll say Anna's driving. You got just the 4 of you in there. Your other vehicle is going to circle around and come in from the east. But right now it's just you on scene. All right, you're in the vehicle. I'll just have your icons there. All right, so how would you like to proceed? And that's a perfectly fine driving roll.
Yep.
So probably moving very carefully, cover to cover. I doubt the ruin itself would be where the contact was. I think they would be the outer areas.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a piloting roll. But yeah, go ahead.
Because that more or less looks more like an area like for a landing pad. Like just land near that. Look for that. Land near it.
Yeah. Samuel says, yeah, that as a pad that might be not quite the right size for the 800-ton job, but it's certainly a noticeable landmark. Yeah.
So whoever the contact was is in the surrounding area. May have an observation post or maybe a bunker, a cave underground.
They might be holed up in that old derelict vehicle here too.
That too. So we definitely need to be careful. Move cover to cover. And if we hear gunshots, call it out.
All right. So let me change something real quick. Scale, we'll call it 10. Okay. All righty. So you get out of the vehicle, and you guys ought to be able to move your own characters around. Neff is probably going to stay with the vehicle, I think, because Pris is hates the sand. Really, just can't operate in it. Okay. Make your intelligence checks as you guys move towards that location. Oh, you finally rolled something the other one. I mean, hold on, wait a minute. Or did you? No, you didn't. Son of a gun. There you go. All right. So, Anna, you notice this. There's something odd about this formation of rocks up here. You're not quite sure. It's hard to see because that's at the limit of your visibility.
Right. I just picked this spot because it's like a head cover.
Yep. And to give you credit, I'm sure that you brought reasonable sensors with you, infrared, stuff like that. They would have had that available at the shipbreaking yard. All right. So where to next?
I'll move to this point. Virgil, you want to stare a step to the next one, or you want me to proceed?
I'll go ahead and proceed.
All right.
Okay, go this way.
Going for that EA higher ground.
I was gonna have the high ground.
She'll pass you past. She'll probably indicate that outcropping.
Where's that at again? Just right in front of me.
Yeah, northwest on map.
All right, so he's watching it, and he signals back to you to come to him. Get behind his position.
Stay on the ridge or cross over here.
Yeah, get behind him, and he'll climb up. That's what he's planning on doing. He's going to climb up and.
All right, Samuel, roll 2D. You roll your intelligence there. As Virgil climbs up. Hey, Samuel, you see a glint of light coming from the vehicle as Virgil's climbing up towards the top there. Samuel is really at that position, the only one that could see it. He's kind of covering the rest of you. All right. And Sam, what do? You're
Off towards the vehicle.
So when he says that, I drop back down.
Which is good because you hear kind of
Virgil.
muffled by the wind, but there was definitely some sort of, that was more than just a gunshot too. And you feel a bit of heat go above you where you were on that hill.
So that doesn't really shock Virgil. But the question is now, if that's not a sniper, is that another tank?
So Samuel, what you saw was it looked like a kind of a laser blast. Definitely originated from the vehicle.
You got somebody with a laser out there shooting from the vehicle. Can I see where the shot specifically came from on the vehicle? Did it come from some?
With the distance and the sand, I would say that all you could tell is that it didn't come from the vehicle. It came from the vicinity of the vehicle. So the vehicle didn't fire at you. It was something near the vehicle. If you were to guess, it's just somebody using the vehicle for cover.
Yeah, I'll pass.
So it's a person with a very big gun. My favorite. So
The laser in this weather.
That's what made it so noticeable. Yeah, the laser attenuated pretty badly.
Virgil kind of looks back and says, move very quickly cover to cover. See if we can't get close enough. We can't flank this person. Obviously going high is not going to work. We're exposed.
Yeah.
So looks like these little outcroppings are going to be our best bet.
Pylons.
The outcroppings are about 10 feet high.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so they're pretty significant. They're just the parts of the old lab ship.
That's our cover. Get to cover, check where you're moving, check across your, diagonals, and let's do this.
Okay, next move. Anna moves up to that one. All right. Anna, roll your intelligence. And it's pretty obvious what we're doing with intelligence is perception, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you settle in over there and you're looking around, something similar to Samuel, you see a glint of light coming from over this direction. Not seeing it?
Hmm?
I see where you're not
No.
seeing it. Hang on a second. Over this direction.
3 o'clock on the map.
All right. And same thing. Let's see if they actually did anything. Oh, they rolled 2 twice. Never mind. No, you didn't get it. So yeah, another laser blast, very attenuated by the sand. That it's much noisier than the laser blast. Normally the laser's a crack sound, but this kind of explosive sound is the laser's just blasting through the sand in the air to get to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's somebody over there, and the glint of light. Let's see, Samuel, we'll give this to you, is as the laser's beginning to charge up for the shot. It actually projects a low-powered beam along the path and then fires, which implies older tech, actually. All right, what's next?
You're the only one that hadn't gone.
I'm going to come here and I'm going to wait for another glint to go off because I'm going to shoot at it.
Okay.
I want to see what we're fighting. Unfortunately, that means Anne's bait.
I'm going to keep moving toward his base of operations over there, see if that's actually like where the dude's living out of that old shell over there. Was my original intent. Came up to this one.
And Virgil will say, I got you covered.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely get shot at up there. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, I'm bait.
You're bait. So you see a guy with a laser. It's a human. And he's carrying and it does look like it's older tech. He's got a backpack battery pack and this laser thing. Takes another shot at Anna and misses. But you can see him, I believe now. Yeah, his location.
All right. So I'm going to see what this will do. And I'm going to use my ACR on this one.
Yeah, you can see that you got him. Oh, you hear it. Oh,
Good. I
I'm
wanted
not
to
sure
wound
what that does to him, but you definitely hit him.
See if I can't get this guy to shed the backpack. I really don't want to kill this guy. That's why I didn't use the Gauss rifle. Yeah, the play hell with the spread of bullets, but I'm wanting answers.
And for Samuel, let me get this guy up here. With Virgil coming out taking a shot, dude up near the vehicle takes a shot. Okay, Virgil, roll your dexterity. Yeah, all right. And it's attenuated. So you were wearing armor, I assume.
Yes, I am.
Did you happen to have it noted which armor you were wearing?
I was wearing combat armor.
That would be, you took the hit on the armor. Yeah. So
Ow.
you got, yeah, you feel that heat. It's a nice hot laser.
Well, this armor's probably going to take maybe one of those next time. One more than I'm. It's just me.
Here's the thing, though. The attenuation is impacted by range. So the closer you are, the less attenuated it is. So just note that. You keep your distance, they can't do as much damage. And you're harder to hit. Of course, they're harder to hit, too.
Yeah.
All right, Samuel, what would you like to do?
I would have picked up some kind of weapon back at the breaker yard.
Mm-hmm. You pick. You still have Una's blue glowy, but yeah, you have options for other weapons as well.
Some kind of firearm. I'll keep the blue glowy with me. Start with trying to shoot that guy. I'm gonna miss.
So which guy?
The guy that just took the shot.
This guy up here?
Yeah.
Up north? All right. Yeah, you haven't quite got those ones out of the system yet. All right. So let's see here. Anna. So you got shot at and missed. You saw another shot just in front of you that apparently hit Virgil. You heard him go, ooh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Only really next to it. I'm trying to get cover from the guy up north.
Then you meet this fellow.
Ah, hello.
Roll. Do you have any melee or brawling?
Let me get run with. Yeah, my character sheet broke out, so it disappears every time I do something.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, it'd be a no.
Okay. And roll your dexterity. Just base dexterity.
That's
Yeah. This guy, as you run around, just bear hugs you. Pulls you in. Tries to disarm you. So roll a strength roll.
all right.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see what this guy gets. I'm gonna say no. That's you're wrestling for the weapon. He's got a real good handle on it, but okay. So that's where you're at. And over the comms, because you have your comm dots going, but you can hear that Anna met somebody, and they're dancing over there. So Virgil.
Let me deal with the threat going on right here. So I'm gonna shoot another burst at this guy. And
so this gentleman here.
Yes.
Okay, go for it. All right. That's good, and that's enough to he goes down at that point. You've done quite a bit of damage with the ACR. So
excellent.
Not sure if he's dead or down or what, but he's just not happy.
Well, if he doesn't shoot back, I know he's not a threat for now, and I can go help.
Yeah. And then Samuel. Did we lose you?
I'm sorry, I remuted myself. I moved up.
Okay. I see that. And you're going to shoot at somebody?
No, I'm
working your way around that circle.
Work my way around.
Gotcha.
I've got the melee weapon out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. You help Anna. I'll cover you. Cat, if you keep moving my monitor, swear to God.
You don't need to see this. Yeah, it's threatening. Yeah, this is, yeah. Ooh, okay. So Virgil, you get shot at again by the dude across the way. Make an attempt to dodge it. Dexterity.
God.
Yeah. Okay. And again, it's this attenuated laser thing. So that's 86 minus 4. Yeah, and the combat armor takes it. Yeah, but you're getting beat up pretty good inside that armor. The heat, the way the combat armor works with regard to laser is it dissipates the heat. But that doesn't mean the heat goes away. That just means instead of burning a hole through you, it's now hot all over. And now you get hit again. Now you're really burning up. So
boiling a frog.
Yeah. Okay. So Anna, you got this. You and your friend are dancing up there.
I want to try an old-fashioned trick. He's got the muzzle of my gun down. I'm shooting for his leg.
Okay, got it. Let's see that roll.
So I'll pull the trigger and see what I get. Not much.
Now you're just struggling so much with it you can't quite get it. So when you finally fire it, it goes a little bit wild.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get the weapon away from you. It's clear that he doesn't want to kill you.
Yeah.
He's
That's
probably
definitely
thinking.
make you think about it anyway.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. So let's see. You roll your strength.
All right.
And it's just a test of strength at this point. And okay. Well, I think this time he's got it.
Yeah.
But there's not such a masterful roll that he has it in his possession. You just drop it. He forces you to drop the weapon. It's now on the ground, and it's just you and him in Mortal Kombat there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that. Virgil.
All right. So now I'm going to get behind cover because
It's getting hot.
here has guy right there had a clear line on me where I was, so I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
And risk a burst at them.
Okay.
Keep them down. Maybe they won't shoot at Sam.
Okay. That is certainly successful. Let me see if you get. And he's undercover over there, so we'll give him a good bonus. Okay, but that does have the effect of keeping his head down.
Just as good.
All right. So, Sam, where you headed? All righty.
Headed around as quickly as is reasonable. I don't know how far I can move and around towards this mess up here.
I think going one of those frames at a time is probably reasonable. If you dash around, you're exposing yourself. Yeah. Do you have the blue halberd out at this point? Is it visible?
Probably.
Okay.
It's not something I can put in my pocket. So.
No, it's not. And an interesting thing about it is when this strong on a normal large weapon like that, it would actually act as a sail, catch the wind. It doesn't do that. The sand gets close to it and seems to vaporize. Just poof. It's a strange weapon, but quite amazing. But one thing that happens is the fellow up here that's been exchanging shots with Virgil recently does catch sight of you running past and that glimpse of blue. And you hear a shouted, blood. Take that for now. Let's see. Back to Virgil.
Oh, I'm going to take a shot.
All right. Yeah, I didn't even need to attempt to dodge that. All right. Anna and dancing partner. So weapons on the ground. Now it's just him trying to subdue you. Get you in some sort of hold so you're not struggling so much. It's still a test of strength at this point. You're wrestling.
Yep.
You've been rolling really good strength, so up to you. Happened.
I'm not. Yeah, she's starting to wear out. She is a scientist after all.
So so you're still at it. Virgil, you took your shot. Samuel. By the way, dude didn't return fire this time. After the bloody hell, you shot up there. You didn't see him, so he may have ducked under the vehicle completely. But you haven't seen him. He hasn't returned fire like he has been every other time.
Okay. So
yeah. Don't know where he is.
That's where I would be.
Okay. So you're good at that point. Samuel, since you haven't been just busy facing this side of the map. Roll your intelligence. That's good enough. You catch sight of... Yeah. That's what I'm after. Somebody up here scrambling along the ridgetop. It looks like they were just watching, but now they're running. And they're running in this direction, towards the north. Come on, put them back. So what do you want to do with that info?
I call in to the... I'm going to call into the tank and let them know that there's somebody up on that ridge and that they're headed north. Might want to move around to intercept.
All right, they say, yep. We'll do what we can. If they... Yeah, that's what you get from the tank.
Yep.
All right. Start with Samuel. You're not sure what happened to your friend up here. That was his last known position, but you heard bloody hell and you haven't gotten any fire since. Did I? Virgil?
If it's my go,
yeah,
I will. I got a feeling he may not be there. Or he's moving. So I probably going to stick with Sam, and we'll just go up here.
Up Anna. All right. So you go and move up to your next spot.
Yeah, and I will go behind. And then there. I will not go in front of it. And just in case that guy's there, I got a feeling he either left or he's hiding.
Sam probably tells you about this person here, or you heard the conversation with the tank. So as you glance up, there is indeed somebody on the ridge that's running north, but they're not paying attention to you at all.
They're not a threat to me. Yet.
Okay, so Anna and Dan's partner. Let's do your strength check and see if we can, if one or the other of you actually pulls through this. Oh, yeah, Anna. So you break free.
That's the third 11 in a row.
Yeah. So, hold on. I'm trying to get you guys separated here. Where is Anna? Anna's up here. Okay, got it. All right. So, yeah, you guys are separated now. And when you break free, both of you look at the weapon.
Yeah.
You're going to dive for it. So we'll have that move here in a moment. And Samuel.
Emmerich taught me that. A real good shot, knee shot to the nads.
I'm gonna, if I can, I'm gonna get all the way around.
Yeah, no need to be cautious at this point. You're ready to be a threat.
Yes.
That's fine. That's good. Okay.
And
so
I'm not going to attack him yet. I'm just going to be ready to attack him, and I'm going to say, don't go for the weapon.
He's got the big stick, and he's going to stand there and his Saga jackass around. Oh.
No, this is going to be a go ahead, punk. Make my day.
Yeah.
Moment. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, you're there with the blue glowy thing, and dude and Anna were diving for the weapon and get it. And we'll say the dude actually comes up with it, but then he turns around and then Anna sees you there. He says, drops it. Anna, you can rush and grab it real quick. So yeah, you captured one of them.
Yeah.
That's how that plays out. All right, so Virgil.
All right.
So it looks like you have had success here. You don't know about your guy to the north, and this person jumps down off of that ridge and disappears behind the rock outcropping up there.
Yeah. So I'll move around and I'm going to see if I spot them.
All right, roll an intelligence check. Let's see. Is that 8?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's good enough. You're close. You're right on top of it now. You may remember earlier on that I think it was Anna said something was odd about these rocks. Now you see what? There's a modular cutter.
Now I'm definitely phoning in the tank.
Then you begin to hear it powering up. So yeah, phoning in the tank.
Yeah, phone in the tank, say, hey, we got a modular cutter about to take off. Don't let it.
All right. We see it. targeting and all right, firing, which results in a sudden cessation of the power-up sounds. Yeah, there's a bit of an explosion amidshits on this thing. Hold on, I said stop this. Stop. Boom. And it suddenly goes dark. I don't have your animated fire, but imagine it, being placed there.
Yeah, till the tank get good hit. And at this point, we have one prisoner. I will go sweep, starting with that. Make sure that guy's gone. If he is, I'll head down here and check on this dude.
Got it. So you don't see dude that was up here. He's clearly just dude down here is alive, but badly injured. So he'll need some treatment or he will perish.
So
dude up here is perfectly healthy. And when you get around to it, checking out the modular cutter, that this individual here was the pilot and just had gotten inside trying to take off. He did not succeed.
I'll disarm that guy and I'll drag him back to everyone else. Be like, here, Una. Or, I offer a sacrifice to you soon. Survived another firefight.
I have the person in the cutter if they're going to come out, or do I have to carve them out?
The axe of life.
I know it. Yeah. It is blue. It's very reassuring. Good. Yeah, that works. So, yeah, she comes out. It takes her a while to extricate herself because the tank did significant damage to egress points. But she does manage to get out, and she's not too badly hurt from being inside it when we got shot by the tank. Not they got to move it out of the way to get to her. You. And then there were 3.
So we'll phone in the tank and just say, all right, we got 3 prisoners.
We'll go looking for that 4th one, see if we can track him down.
If not, he belongs to the desert.
Yeah, not much survives out here.
So now that Anna has at least stabilized one of them, he's probably not going to be able to talk, but we got 2, at least one that's not rattled from a concussion, probably. And I'll probably do a on-the-spot interrogation right there.
Okay, go ahead and roll your persuasive skill as appropriate.
Persuade this time.
All right. Wow, guys. All right, anybody else? I think there's one person that has a particularly, that works. You've got the big blue glowy thing, and yeah. So that they're not paying attention to Virgil or Anna at all. The only thing they've got eyes for is, the guy with the big glowy thing that they apparently know what that thing can do. I think the most important question you should ask is why are they just not?
And that's what Virgil would ask, because you obviously know what that is. How and why do you know?
That's Relemica's weapon. How did you get Relemica's weapon?
Oh, he has one too.
His is cooler.
I've never seen it up front, so yeah.
It's definitely cooler than Relemicus's, I'll tell you that right now. That's brought down a whole spaceship.
They don't know about the tank. So yeah, they see that and they identified that's Relemica's weapon. So yeah, apparently he has one too. The rest of the interrogation will summarize. They are the advanced team that Broadsword was expecting to find down here. Their job was to establish a safe landing spot for it. They've cleared out the surrounding ruins. And there were actually more than 4. There were probably about 20 of them in the original group. The remaining 16 have infiltrated. This is, what you were afraid of, into the population at the shipyard, into various locations, just doing their thing. These 4 are not Rithipal Landing citizens, but many of the people that they brought with them to do the infiltration are, decks and techs and flights. So they're people that have been brought over to the bad guy side. Traitors is the right word, I think.
That is what I was afraid of. And I tell Mathis, hey, end your search for the 4th guy. We need to get back now. And I tell him, it's like, it's what I feared. We got moles. We got a turd in the punch bowl. We got people that aren't our people back at the shipyard. We need to get back there, and we need to figure out a plan.
So this is, everybody rounds up. You get these guys, the tank shows up. You get these guys in the tank under guard. That's where you have room for them. And you mount in the buggy and turn around and you start heading back. When you see and hear, let me find it. Now, as I've said often, the ring world, living on the inside of it, doesn't have a horizon that you're used to. It goes up another direction. So that means that a ship that's parked anywhere on the inner surface of the ring world with sufficient range can fire at other locations on the ring world's inner surface because they're right there in direct line of sight. You are now seeing that in action, and it looks and sounds like this. You see it. It looks like it's a shot that is impacting in the direction of the shipbreaking yard shipyard. And then many seconds later, you hear it. Loud sound warning. Give you a moment to adjust. Okay. Aritha will fire her main battery. That was the gravy gun and the fusion gun.
That's what we were afraid of, too.
And ouch. That's where we'll pause it for the night.
So much for remembering my brother-in-law's name.
No, not that bad. Yeah, but that shot did apparently land somewhere in the vicinity of the space yard. Space. We have a shipyard? No. Space dock? No. Spaceport. Thank you. Oh, that's back. I guess we lost Steven is who we lost. All right. Okay. Well, guys, thank you.
So
And
do we have an official word that Mac's off the list or what?
not officially. It was just the case of real life Trump scam. He had a new job.
Yeah.
And was scheduled to work tonight, and he's going to try to see if he has the possibility of getting Saturdays off.
Gotcha.
So when he finds out, we'll adjust accordingly. But until then, we'll just continue our normal schedule.
Right on. Like I said, I was just assuming that new job schedules on Saturday means it's a continuing thing.
Yeah, he'll let us know. He was pretty good this week about informing, so it's all good. Next week, and my gosh, getting old, losing track of the schedule. Who would it be next week? It's Chris?
Should be back to me, yeah.
Okay. So that's where we'll pick up. The thing falls mainly on the plane.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
All right, we will all. We'll see you guys at the same time next week.
Indeed. Take care, everybody.
Yep. Be well, all.
All right, Peg, I guess I'll see you Monday.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm gonna try and send this e-boat map pack to you some point, because it even has a battleship on there. But I've double checked, and you actually have decks.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be fun.
No, I think you may enjoy that.
It'd be a way of turning the tables on it anyway.
Yep.
I'm just trying to find a way to screw me in the end because I was trying to keep this guy around for a recurring bad guy.
You'll find a way.
Yeah. All right. Well, be easy, man. We'll see you Monday.